What's up, Husky Bassheads? Husky Shane, the bearded basshead, back again. How you guys doing? So today what we're going to be doing is something I had never done before. We're going to be reconing this subwoofer right here. So what do we got on the bench here? It's that Pierce Audio Series 4K that I had in the Mitsubishi. Blew it pretty quickly because my fault. I was sending a clip signal to it and it just wrecked those tinsel leads. I haven't seen really the inside of the voice coil yet. I don't know if that survived. But here's what we're going to be putting in it. This is designed to fit that, obviously, but it's got the 8-layer coil. So Pierce Audio has the 4-inch coil, but it is a 4-layer in the Series 4K. And so this is the same coil that he puts in his M.O.A.B 8Ks. You can also see well, I don't know if you can see that, but the tinsels are thicker too. So that thing should be able to handle 5K all day long. And that's what we're going to be putting on it, or at least I hope. One thing I did notice, the surround is a little different. Not quite as big, or maybe it is. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm just looking at it different. And the glue, oh my God. That thing ain't going nowhere. So anyway, doing a M.O.A.B 8K 15 soft parts into a Pierce Audio Series 4K. Now you can see I got it on my little Lazy Susan turntable here. Just had that clamp there. That'll make our job a little bit easier because we're gonna have to be turning this thing a lot. Anyway, that's the plan, guys. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever reconed a subwoofer. So this isn't necessarily a how-to video more than it is follow me as we go on this journey together type of video. Okay guys, so first step to any recone is to get the old soft parts out of there. Now what we're going to be using for that is just a blade here, and I got another like a flat blade that I can use as a scraper once we get this off of here. So it looks like the coil is, well, no. You can see that thing did get a little hot, get a little burned. But anyway, there's that. That's basically your starting point. You just take your blade, cut out the surround, and then cut out the spider. And then that's what you're left with. Now, that's why I got this. Because you got to remove all this off of there too, all of that, and then all that. You got to get that smooth. So that's why I got this here. So guys, as you can see, this is going to take a while. Basically what needs done is I'm going to come in here and just start kind of pulling at this and using my blade to kind of cut up underneath it. Same thing here. I don't really think I need to get the whole thing on video. I'm gonna turn you guys off, and then once I get this done, then I'll bring you guys back and give you an update on it. All right guys, little intermediate here. So what I did, so I don't get a bunch of debris and junk in here, I just took some packing foam and kind of put it over the motor and the vent hole and everything. And so right here where these speaker leads or the wires go through, man, that was a pain in the butt. Like, it was glued in there good. But I found that if I can just get under there with a screwdriver. That's kind of how I worked up that other side. See, you can see that's starting to come up. Then I just kind of worked it around and then it just popped right out of there. So anyway, we're working our way through this. I'll update you guys as I make progress. What you got to do is get all this leftover, you know, from around your surround. It's all just like piled up on here. And you can see I've kind of been working at it with my Dremel, but you really got to get that off of there to make sure you have a good mounting surface for the recone. So I'm just kind of working all that black stuff off of there. We're going to get it down to where it all looks about like that. So that's the process there, and then we got to do it again for the spider lands. And anyway, it's more work than what it looks like to get that cleaned up, but we're working at it. Okay, so this is what it looks like with a combination of a screwdriver, a blade, some hand sanding, a Dremel, and a grinding wheel. I got this surface and this surface pretty smoothed out. Now, of course, it does not have to be all the way down to the bare metal, but you do have to make sure that you have all of the old rubber and plastic off of there, and then you do need a rough surface. You know, if you've ever painted or glued anything, you have to have a rough surface or else it will not stick. So we got that. I'm glad we had the debris catcher because there's a bunch of debris. So we got to get all this cleaned up, vacuumed up before we start putting the new piece in there because we don't want all that crap in there. Okay, so as you can see, we have this all cleaned up. I blew all the debris out. We cleaned off our work area. Now the last thing we want to do is really make sure these surfaces are clear and clean. Use some alcohol and a rag and just wipe these surfaces down. You can see, even though it looked clean, it ain't. You know, it's got a bunch of debris and gunk on it. So we just want to make sure the whole thing is cleaned off before we put that recone on there. Okay guys, so quick little update here. You can see with these direct leads, Pierce Audio has some holes drilled in this frame, and he had like gobs of glue holding that in place. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm using zip ties to hold these, let me pull that down a little bit. Anyway, to hold these on top of this, and then I'm gonna zip tie them at the bottom also. I just don't wanna glue them, I just don't. Okay, and then this is my, what do you call it? Voice coil shim, that's what you call it, 4-inch voice coil shim. Got that from M.O.A.B. You actually have to squeeze it shut to get it down in that voice coil hole. But right now, I'm just kind of lining up these speaker holes and then getting these ready before I glue or anything like that. Okay guys, I just dropped that thing in there just because, being that this is my first time doing this, I really want to make sure that everything fits the way it's supposed to before I start putting glue anywhere. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's, come on baby, get in there. So that's where those, yeah, you can't really see it, maybe over there. Anyway, I got them zip ties that just hold that from falling any deeper in those holes. Then I actually put a little bit extra heat shrink on these leads because he doesn't have the leads sewn into the spider pack, which is weird. I've never really seen that before, but I don't want these flapping around and then touching each other. So I put a little bit of heat shrink on them myself to prevent that from there. Now you can see it. I got that zip tie right there. So anyway, I just put a little bit more heat shrink on that myself so that that doesn't happen. And then what I'm gonna do here is just zip tie these together. That way it doesn't slide up, and then the zip ties on the top will prevent it from sliding down. Okay guys, so we're ready now to actually glue the recone in place. We got our surfaces cleaned up. We got everything dusted out. We got everything wiped down with alcohol. Now we're going to glue everything in place. This is what we're going to be using, E6000. Now I know they make CA glue specifically for this kind of thing. I did a lot of reading online and have seen a lot of reviews where guys just use this stuff instead, and seems to work fine. I mean, it's an industrial strength adhesive and it's meant for metal and all types of surfaces. I don't really see how super glue is better than this. I don't know. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever done this, so what do I know, right? Okay, and then once we get everything in place, we're gonna be using clamps to hold it down. And then we've got our 4-inch voice coil shim to make sure that that voice coil is centered, because you don't want that rubbing in there. Otherwise you messed up your recone and you got to do it again. So I got this from M.O.A.B, 4-inch voice coil shim. Fits right in there, holds everything nice and center. Now you'll see I had to modify these clamps to go on the spider landing. I had to pull one of the little flat pieces off so that I just got these two little teeth. Because as you can see, I don't really have anything to clamp a flat surface on here on the bottom, right? Like that's not gonna catch that. So these little teeth will go in between these little ribs here, and then the flat surface will hold the spider landing in place just like that. So that's what we're gonna do. Hope it turns out, because once you put the glue on there, you're kind of stuck and you can't really go back. May have used a little bit too much glue, but when I was doing this, my thought kind of was that there's no such thing. I may have been wrong about that. Okay, what I'm doing now, guys, is I'm just trying to make sure that everything is on there evenly. Give it a little turn. Just see if it's what I want. See if it's the way I want it. I mean, it seems to be okay. Yeah, everything seems to be fine. If we pull this out, is it centered? I don't hear any rub initially. It looks evenly spaced. Yep, okay. Stick this back in there then. Okay. All right. Well, gonna let that cure probably for a day or two before we really try to do anything with it. So the final step in this process is to put the dust cap on. So remember, always remember, pull your shim out before you do this. It would be very easy to forget that that is in there and then just throw that dust cap on there and glue your shim in there and then, whoops, uh-oh, that's not good. So pull this out. Man, that is stiff. Okay, so here's how I'm gonna do this actually. I have two dust caps. This one is from Pierce Audio, the one that they sent me with the recone. This is one that I just had. I got it from Lord of Bass. Just kind of had a spare one laying around. And you can see that it is just a little bit smaller than this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this as a template. See, and it's actually just a little bit too small to use on this sub. Otherwise, I'd kind of rather use this one because that blue carbon fiber looks pretty sweet. But anyway, I'm gonna use this as a template, use a white Sharpie to trace around this. That way I know where to put my glue so that it's centered, instead of me just taking that glue and just randomly putting it on the cone, right? And then this should fit right over that, where my glue is at. Okay, gonna use my E6000 again. We're gonna use some masking tape and a 5-pound weight that I have to hold that down. All right. So we have the thing assembled now. Now we just got to give it a while. I don't know, maybe 24 to 48 hours. I'm not sure exactly, but say probably better err on the safe side to let all that glue cure. Then we should be done. And that thing is stiff. Like I can barely move that. Jeez. I might need to upgrade to an 8K. I don't know. But the last thing we got to do, you can see this recone didn't come with holes in it already. I mean, which is fine. But I'm just going to use my little drill bit here to drill these holes out. See? See, now we got our hole. We're just going to do that all the way around. Okay, so there you have it. Got all my holes drilled. Now for the finishing touch. I got a new gasket from Florida Base. Let me tell you why. The first box I put that thing in, which is that box right there, had this paint that wasn't very good. Any long story short, that paint just came off on my old gasket, and it took me probably 15 minutes to get this little bit off. I just said screw it. I mean, Florida Base has these for sale for very cheap, so I just bought another one. Let's get that bad boy on there. All right, guys, so, I mean, some finishing touches here, some stuff I did off camera. I just added these 8-gauge, man, why is that not focusing? Holy cow. Just, anyway, these ring terminals, got them from Ace Hardware, threw some heat shrink on them, used my little hand crimper here to crimp them on there, not a big deal. Put this gasket on there. I ran my bolts through the holes just to make sure that the holes were lined up. This gasket's a little snug on this sub, but you know, whatever. I guess that's a good thing. Okay, everything's all done. And like I said, man, that thing is stiff. Holy cow. I'm gonna have to put 2 5Ks on this thing. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Anyway, so there you have it. There's the sub, got the new recone in there. That is a 8-layer coil, 4-inch. So this is from their M.O.A.B 8K model, but this is their 4K sub. So there you go. That's my first recone. Seemed to have come out pretty good, I think, if I do say so myself. We won't know till we put it in the box though and get it playing. That'll be my next video, is getting this thing back in the car. So anyway, if you like what you're watching, please like the video, give me a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Leave a comment, you know, just interaction on my page helps me grow, and I would really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys that are watching. Also, I do have an Amazon store. If you guys are into that kind of thing, I sell coffee mugs. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with car audio, but I do have a couple of products that are car audio inspired, like this coffee mug, or this one, or maybe this one. So I'll put links to those in the bottom of the video. If you want a cool car audio bass head inspired coffee mug, just click on the link and I'd appreciate it. You could buy that from me. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And as always, play your music loud.